Hi friends. You've got to take your joy where you can get it. And one of my favorite things to bubble up out of our nationwide racial consciousness raising is This You Twitter. You know, a corporation or an influencer posts a black square with white text that says, "With everything going on, lynchings, I'm listening and I'm learning and I'm ready to declare in front of God and my sponsors that Black Lives Matter." And then a black person who has worked with that person or that company and has experienced whatever swimming pools full of racism lie within, quote tweets with the receipts with, "This you? Oh, it is a thing of beauty." So in this, the end of Pride Month, consider this video a "this you" to the entire LGBTQIA community. Now, to be fair, this goes both ways. Black community, we need to do better by Black trans women. But for me, the racism within the queer community has always been a sore subject. It took me many years to find pride in all of my intersecting identities. First, I came to feminism and then melted down the trophy of "you're not like other girls." And then I stopped flat ironing my hair and hating the way that my skin turned golden in the summer and began to love my mixed race identity. And then, right on CP time, I finally realized I was queer. And I went 0 to 60 on that gay shit. Shortly after I came out, I was applying for a bunch of nonprofit jobs and ended up moving to New York to work at an LGBTQ nonprofit. My first day of work was June 1st, the first day of Pride Month. Still fresh with the hope that anybody cared what I thought, I brought up the "More Color, More Pride" flag, a version with a brown and black stripe at the top that Philadelphia had just unveiled for their Pride celebrations to recognize the important contributions that Black and brown people, especially Black and brown trans people, have made in the struggle for queer liberation. I pitched using it in our digital imagery throughout the month of June, and my boss was like, "Well, maybe instead we can put up a Facebook post about what Philly's doing and ask people what they think." That should have been a different kind of flag, because that boss's vision centered around creating strong emotion to generate engagement, the strongest of those emotions being outrage. Look, I've moderated a lot of shitty comment sections, but all of the comments about "isn't the normal pride flag enough for you people?" and "this is disrespectful" hurt, because disrespectful to who? Trans people of color have led and sustained this movement. That's not something to debate on a Facebook page. That's fact. Of course, my boss thought this was great. We were generating so many comments. Also, we're gonna go with the normal flag for our social posts, you understand. And those are the kinds of conversations I had every day at that job that wore down my sense of belonging. So I think about 6 weeks into the job, I moved my little Monopoly piece to the next stage of Black women in a nonprofit timeline. The honeymoon was over, and I decided it was my duty to take all these white gays and free the sassy Black women trapped inside them, that my activism would be from the inside. Hey Siri, was that a bad choice for my career?
I'm sorry.
Another boiling point came in the midst of the white supremacist rallies in Charlottesville. My parents were in town for the weekend, and I was at a museum with them when my boss called to tell me that we needed to respond to the breaking news. I left immediately and worked for the rest of the weekend, and at a staff meeting the next week, I was feeling bold, so I asked why we were so concerned with being the fastest to respond to a trending topic when internally we were acting as if it didn't exist. You don't think that the Black people who work here are also feeling the effects of this personally? While we're trying to get out with a statement before the other queer orgs do so that we can get more likes, there needs to be some sort of internal resource or at least an acknowledgement of the weight that we bear. "Thank you for your comments, Jillian," the meeting's moderator said, naming the other Black women who worked there. And this is why we can't have nice things. I don't think my problem was just with this one organization. I've heard similar stories from people of color at a lot of queer and trans advocacy organizations. And I mean, it makes sense because the people who lead them are the same type of people putting in their Grindr profiles that they don't date Black people. What I experienced is that cis white gay people, because they experience one form of oppression, can act like they couldn't possibly oppress other people. Not that it's an impression Olympics, but white gays, y'all can still do white supremacy. And you do. I don't know if it's defensive because they feel disempowered in one part of themselves, that they need to feel more powerful than other people. You need to feel like someone is lower on the ladder than you to be okay with yourselves, because that's what happened to me. It was like, because I pointed out the organization's shortcomings in their understanding and treatment of race, they had to convince themselves that I was not smart or talented or valuable. They had to convince me to feel that way too. And I was ashamed for letting that happen to me, for getting on the train every day and going to a place where people would treat me that way and still granting them legitimacy when they wanted to work with Black celebrities or influencers. I thought, well, if things are this bad, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not good enough. I felt so much shame for not being the right kind of queer. But the opposite of shame is pride. And I'm so proud to be Black and bi. I'm so proud to get to study and learn from Black LGBTQIA+ leaders like Angela Davis and Marsha P. Johnson and Bayard Rustin, James Baldwin and Alice Walker, Miss Major and Audre Lorde and Alicia Garza, and Janet Mock and Ashley Ford and Roxane Gay, people who have and will continue to carry the movement for queer and trans equality on their backs. I am so endlessly proud to be part of this community. And I need for this community to be proud of us too. In the comments, tell me how you've been celebrating this unusual pride. If you like this video, you can hit the little notification bell to find out when I make more, or you can join the Radish Collective, my community of Patreon supporters, and help me make more of these videos. I'll see you soon. Bye!